And we are back. And by now, you are asking yourself a very important question. I know you are. And the question you are asking yourself is, how can you distinguish between the folks who know their stuff and the ones that don't? The way you distinguish between the folks who know their stuff and the ones that don't is that you hear it in their tone. When someone knows their content, they speak with a level of authority and certainty that becomes audible. And I assure you that when you listen to Julie Crisara speak about her topic, you are going to be hearing the voice of authority. Make sure you've got something to write with. Make sure you have something to write on. Because you folks are in for a treat. Let's give Julie a round of applause.
That was nice, thank you.
You wish you had that, waking up every day out of bed, huh?
That's why you get up so early every day.
That's what it feels like to be married to you every day, Julie. That's how it feels every day I got married to you. That's what it's like.
Well, thank you. I don't know if anybody of you know, but this is actually my first time speaking at any of our events, right?
You probably should put that speaker on your other lapel.
Am I too loud?
They can't hear it. It's too soft, probably. See if you get in here. I'll get it.
Better?
It's hard because you got that over there. All right, that's good. That's good. Go ahead. There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. So that's your first time? Your first...
It's the first time, so I'm pretty psyched up.
That's good. Now you know how to get mic'd up.
And mic'd up.
All right, so we're going to talk today. The subject, Julie, is talking about the golden rules of dispatch, which, for today seem old and quaint to some people. But these golden rules are timeless. We've covered this subject many times for many different people. And let's face it, we didn't make up these rules. They're things that are kind of other groups and other people. Actually, the first time I heard some of these rules, it goes back to like 1992. Even back in the late 80s, there was a guy named Doc Rusk, if you remember this guy who was a pioneer in best practices. It's funny how you're a pioneer one day, the next day nobody even knows who you are, right? And second time I heard some of these things were from a gentleman, Maurice Mayo, who people may know more about him in San Diego, down the road in San Diego, right? And so, sometimes people have character flaws and whatnot, but nonetheless, sometimes the information is still good, right? It doesn't make a difference, right? So, nonetheless, we took these after hearing all this stuff, we kind of compiled our own, golden rules out of it. What do we hear that are the things that you must do and must not do? And no matter what, even though technology has advanced, and there's a movement toward I call lazy-ass dispatching, which means that there is no dispatcher. Technology can do it without a person. Make sense? Which I think doesn't make sense to my book. And so Julia and I are going to talk about that and how every time we hear a company say, "Oh no, we don't use that. Their dispatcher doesn't do that. We have a program that does it," type of thing. And there's some things a program can do, and there's other things a program cannot do. And it still needs a real person to hold people accountable. Believe me, there's no software that can hold you accountable. You still have to enter in information into the software. You have certain kinds of access to it. That's what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be a little quick discussion here on how the 15 golden rules of dispatch can.
I wanted to just start off by taking a quick survey and how many of you have actual dispatchers in your. Yeah, how many of them actually dedicated just to dispatch? They're not answering the phone too. Okay, so there's quite a few of you, but the majority probably really are not at this point where you have an actual dispatcher. So I'm asking because some of this information is older information, and I wanted to bring some of you up to speed with what our system is actually, because some of you won't know, being that it's your first time being here, and maybe introduced her information here. So as Joe had mentioned, it was funny because we had a conversation on the way here, even down to Long Beach, about some of the technology that's out there, and everyone's going to the iPads, and we were watching a few videos online last week, and the dispatcher's like, my guys don't even need me here. I don't talk to them all day. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, how could that really work? I mean, the technology is so great, right? We all love it. But how can it really work when you're not having any communication with your dispatcher all day long? You're not having any communication with your technician all day long, asking them, did they actually do the 6 options? What do they actually provide them while they're, what kind of services? So this is why we kind of tack that on the technology end of it. We wanted to bring that up as an issue because we all love it and it's so great and it's obviously done wonders for us, but it can kind of hurt us when it comes to the overall revenues that are coming in from your technicians.
Yeah, it can do amazing things. Technology can do amazing things that can actually help. And there are some things. I'm not going to say it's all bad.
No,
so we're not.
I love technology.
We're not going to get a bomb shelter and hide under the ground somewhere and say it's not good for some of it. However, I think that people who make software programs don't necessarily understand how service companies really operate. They go by the general masses as how the average guy operates. Well, we just saw with the average guy how he operated when I made that phone call. How do you think they operate? Best practices there? What do you think about it? It's an embarrassment to the industry. It dishonors the industry. It dishonors the company. It dishonors the employees and the clients who are clients of that company. And if they're going by that as how they're going, this is how software companies are developing software to see that they're going for the normal. Because we want to get as many contractors on our software as possible. That's the goal. It's not about trying to make sure it's right for you. It's making sure it's right for us. I feel from what I've seen. More of the software companies are putting software out there that's right for them and not necessarily right for you. And it may influence you to say, well, if that's what the software says to do, well, software can't be bad. It's got to be good. I mean, the internet, everybody tells the truth on the internet, right? It's got to be good. Who would lie about that? So sometimes the technology we say, well, I'll let that go because it's just the one thing. And it doesn't do that too. Well, it's still a good program. I just paid X amount of dollars, so it's still good, right? You start influencing yourself and talking yourself out of the things you know to be true. And so we're going to try and hold yourself accountable after we're talking this stuff today about some of the good things under there. There's a balance here, right? Good things and also some of the things that can hurt us too.
And I think some of the theme that seems to be emerging from today so far is this pure motive that we have, as you heard Mike talk about, you heard Danielle talk about. And when you have technology doing that for you, and you eliminate that human interaction, that connection that you're going to make with a customer or with your technicians or your employees, then you lose a lot of that really there. That motive becomes different now at that point. So if you're going to be able to, if you're going to say that having a pure motive is a high value for you, this is part of our core values, then making sure that you have a good balance between your technology, with your technology and with your people is something that you need to take a look at. So.
Yeah, I think that technology will come full circle. Where it used to be, you see a software that would dispatch people and track all your inventory and all this kind of stuff. And the move was to more features. However, that more features leads to more complication. Like now if I got an inventory part of it, I got to make sure that's all worked into my other part of it. And a good organization is one that kind of, the whole thing is done so one part of the company balances and checks the other part of the company, right? We can't just give out inventory if it wasn't sold. Why would I give somebody inventory? How would I know if it was sold? So it's all good stuff. However, it can lead to complications. So we're going to go back, kind of simplify. I think it's going to come full circle in the long run, where it will come back to the value of simplicity. Which thank God the iPad has emerged, because I think it forces simplicity into people. You can't have about 8 different menus to choose from anymore. With an iPad, it can only put the name, address. So I do like that part of it as far as that goes. I think the iPad is going to be, or any kind of a pad type of format, BlackBerry or whatever they have, droid and those type of things, they're all going to come back to simplicity as opposed to trying to be more complex type of thing. So with that in mind, let's talk about the golden rules of dispatching, Julie.
Okay.
And number one golden rule, what is that now, Julie? And we're going to talk about how technology can hurt us. That's number one is what?
The number one is for you to dispatch one call at a time. Or one, I like to go beyond saying one call at a time. I like to say we dispatch one task at a time. So if that means that your technician has to come back to the shop, restock his parts, gas his truck up, and then he's going to take a lunch and go on to the next call.
Let's stop right there. How many things is that?
That's 4, right?
No, it's more than 4.
More than 4?
Come back to the shop is 1. Mm-hmm. What's the next thing you said?
Get his parts, restock his truck.
That's number 2.
He's going to gas up his truck.
3.
He's going to get some lunch.
4.
And then go to his job.
5. There's 5 things you got there.
Okay.
If you told your technician all 5 of those things, how often do you think it would get done in that exact order if you told the technician that?
Almost never.
Yeah. So you're setting up your own failure. And now what happens is the office throws their hands up. Those technicians, it's like freaking babysitting, these guys. I mean, geez, I told them exactly what to do. Joe, what do you do about technicians? Don't listen to me. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said that to me, I'd have a room full of nickels, wouldn't we?
Yes.
And the first thing Julie and I know, I'm like, yeah, I got the guy who says why the technicians don't do what I say to do. And she's like, yep, they need the golden rules of dispatch, don't they?
Yes.
Because,
and it's not that they're not even listening to you. It's that you have given them 5 things to do and expect them to remember all of that, plus whatever else is going on in their head throughout the day. So
yeah, it comes down to one thing. Julie told me that you have to eliminate discretion at the technician level. That there's no discretion. You have one thing to do, and do it. Come back to the shop. What am I doing after that? Nothing. You come back to the shop, and we'll let you know. Oh, okay. So what are you going to do? Come back to the shop. That's it. There's no lunch. There's no anything else. This is what you're doing right now. End-to-end accountability. Because if I give people discretion by saying, here's 5 things I want you to do, guess what? The technician or the salesperson's just going to pick one of the wrong things. Oh, I thought you told me to get gas. That's why I stopped there first. Well, no, geez, I got to get you back here to the shop. I got to get these parts over in your truck. And now, geez, well, now where are you? I'm heading to the call. I forgot. I thought I'd get the parts later. This is what it sounds like when a technician does a dysfunction. Hey, guys, anybody been there before? So this is golden rule number 1. Now here's where technology can hurt us. Julie, go ahead and tell us what you've seen out there with programs.
A lot of the programs out there, unfortunately, are giving all the calls to their technicians. So they're able to scroll through and see their whole entire day. This is not just a technology thing. I mean, we have people who are doing that back and forth. The dispatchers are giving them all their tickets for the whole entire day too. But technology really hurts that when the technician can go and see everything that's on his schedule throughout the day and know exactly what's there. And now they're just going to go from one thing to the next without any interaction with anybody. And I don't know about your businesses, but our business never stayed the same from the time I got in to the time I went home. It was a completely different schedule. By the time I walked in the door from the night before to the next morning, things had changed. So if a technician already knows his complete schedule for the whole entire day, knows what needs to go on, they're going to go out there doing their stuff, and you have no interaction, no control over what's really going on. So by limiting that, by saying, here's your call, here's what I need you to do, and then they're going to come back to you when they're done with that, and then you're going to say, okay, now I need you to come back to the shop and turn in your tickets. Or now I'm going to need you to go ahead and get some gas. Or now I'm going to need you to take a lunch.
And ironically, this is where technology is good. So if you could dispatch one call to the technician, and he's finished with that call, and he says, there's no more calls on my list, that came to my iPad or whatever, what's next? Head toward Long Beach, and we'll go ahead and send it to your iPad. It'll be on the way right now. Tell them what area to go. That's kind of one of our principles as well there too. Mm-hmm. So, but the opposite of this would be dispatching the entire call list. And there are some fairly sophisticated programs that cost thousands of dollars a year that don't do this. That they don't give you discretion to give only one call at a time. Now, if I give you one call at a time and you finish with a call, is the machine going to go ahead and give you another call? Well, if it does, how does the machine know it's the right call? Is it going to prioritize it? Do they know the guy's sales figures? Are they going to look at the sales, what he's good at doing, and give him the right call for him? Or are they just going to give him the next call on the list type of thing? Because the way I do things, one of the things we do, Julie, is what? I mean, it's not a golden rule, but it's kind of like a sub-golden rule, which is when you got a technician who's really good at one thing, what do we do with if his results are always good at one certain type of thing? What do we do with that?
He's getting that kind of call. that call is if he's good with elderly people, or he's good at boilers, or he's good at sales calls, or he's good at whatever he's good at. That's my technician. That's my go-to technician.